Hi, I'm Ryan Clutie and I'm here from the IIE's Varsity College, Cape Town, to tell you about the 4 functions of management.
So we've got the 4 functions of management. They are planning, organizing, leading, and control. These 4 functions are often referred to in its acronym form known as POLC. It has to be in that order because planning has to happen first before any of the other functions. The first function of management, planning. What we need to try to be able to look at in terms of planning is looking at 2 different themes. The first theme is setting objectives, and the second theme is preparing for the future. Okay, preparing the business for the future is an important aspect of business, and when you take a look at setting of objectives, it goes hand in hand with this theme, because what you do when you set objectives is you are setting the objectives for the future. Planning is a very important aspect of business, because without planning, the other functions of management will not work. What it does is it looks at taking the resources of business and getting it ready for what needs to happen within the business. Let's take a look at an example. If it is that we had, for example, a drive-through, and the drive-through needed to try to be able to serve people fast food, the cars in that drive-through need to be able to look at getting their food optimally. If it is that you did not plan to have the resources correctly at the different windows of that drive-through, then serving those customers over a short period of time, let's say for example 2 minutes or so, would not happen. If it is that there wasn't any change at the second window, you would not be able to give the customer their change, which means that the cars in the drive-through would back up. Planning is about putting it down on paper so that you would be ready for any kind of scenario to achieve the objectives of the business. The second function of management is organizing. Organizing is a very important aspect of business and often very, very underutilized. When we take a look at organizing, it is quite simply taking the optimal things in your business and putting them in the right places, often referred to as putting the aces in places. Let's take a look at the drive-through example once again. If it is that you took a look at the 3 different windows that is going to be able to serve customers, if it is that you do not have the right change at the cashiers, all the cars are going to back up, which means that financially you have not given the second window, that cashier, the opportunity to function adequately. If it is that the person at the first window is not able to take the orders from the customers, all of the cars in the drive-through are going to back up, and what that will mean is that you are not going to be able to achieve the objectives that you set out in planning. Organizing is optimal in terms of making sure that all of the different things that you need to achieve are ready for you to be able to achieve the objectives that you set out in the beginning. The third function is leading. There are 2 themes that I have for leading. The one theme is lead by example, and the second theme is motivating employees. I'm going to take a look at motivating employees first. What you need to try to do is you need to try to get employees to behave in a particular way that is going to enable them to achieve the objectives of the business. If it is that you are a manager, your job would be to then either reward or inspire them to be able to achieve these objectives optimally. When you take a look at leading by example, I've said that this is an important aspect for a manager to take into consideration. If you look at a business and staff, for example, you will find that staff will not perform optimally if it is that the manager does not behave in a particular way. So if it is that you're the manager and you are leaving work early, in that drive-through example, then you'll see that the staff members will also not worry about trying to be able to achieve those objectives because it wasn't important to the manager in the first place. The fourth function of management is control. A very important aspect of the business or function of management, and control is about trying to be able to put control measures in place to ensure that you achieve the objectives of the business. When you take a look at control, it is something that a business needs to address continually, and it's a fundamental aspect of business because it is the last function of management and it will feed back into planning. Before we get into that, let's take a look at the drive-through example again. If you identify with a drive-through needs to be able to serve, for example, a number of cars over a small period of time. One car needs to be taken care of within 2 minutes. Okay? So if it is that we take a look at serving 50 cars, then that will require the business to be able to serve every car in 2 minutes, which would make 100 minutes. If it is that it takes the business more than an hour to serve 30 cars, then we can measure to identify that within 100 minutes we are not going to be able to achieve serving 50 cars. So having said that, you've got the control measures to be able to ensure that you're going to achieve the objectives that you've set out to be able to achieve. Control is a very important aspect of business, a very important function of management, simply because it is the one function of management that feeds back into planning. As I said from the beginning, the 4 functions of management operate in a cycle, which means that after control, we go back to planning. If it is that we've taken care of control optimally, we can take a look at ensuring that planning can take place better. There are only 4 things that you can control in the business, and those are the 4 resources. The 4 resources are your financial resources, your human resources, your natural or your physical resources, and your information resources. Putting control measures into place will ensure that the business will be able to perform better. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.